Thank you for joining us on another episode of NBA Central. I'm one of the hosts here, Haize. That's my brother JB. On today's episode, we're going to go over some of our biggest basketball hot takes so far this season. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
The number one place for your daily basketball fix, NBA Central. Hosted by the one and only CEO Haize.
All right, JB. So, what's your first hot take, man?
So, there's a lot of shit I can say about the season so far, but I'm trying to just keep it to a minimum. So the first thing I want to talk about, this is basically a shout out to Dub Nation. Dub Nation, take a step away from the ledge. This season is okay. The Warriors will be fine. I know a lot of people now. The Warriors have championship DNA. They have a great squad with veteran players. They have great young guys. They have a phenomenal coach. My hot take, if you want to call it a hot take, is the Warriors are going to go at least to the Western Conference Finals this season. I don't care how they look now.
You know what's funny, bro? And I promise you, this isn't no cap. One of my hot takes was going to be that the Golden State Warriors are literally just playing cat and mouse with the NBA.
This is why we're brothers.
Like that, legitimately, that was going to be, because I believe that wholeheartedly, bro. Like I just feel like at this point we should all know by now the Golden State Warriors, whether right or wrong, feel like and look at everything like, hey, once we're ready to turn it on, nobody can stop us. So even if we go in as the 8th seed, which I don't think it'll be that low at all, by the time the playoffs get started, they're going to be like for example, they're going to be like the Boston Celtics of last season, who by midway through the season was like a 500 team, and then all of a sudden after the All-Star break, they just couldn't be beat, and then they're going to ride it out in the playoffs. I absolutely agree with that hot take, bro.
Yeah, we're spoiled watching the Warriors because we're so used to them, winning like 7 out of 10 games, 8 out of 10 games. Yeah. And this is what they do when they win, they go on these crazy streaks. And this year there's some adversity, but I think at the end of the season, going into the playoffs, that's the story and that's the narrative. The NBA is great at building narratives and stories, and it's going to be like the Warriors triumphant from this slow start, going to playoffs. And let me tell you, I don't like in any given day, on any given night, in any given game, any team can beat any team in the NBA. In a 7-game series, to beat a squad like that with all that talent and experience, it's a tough. You got to go out and beat these dudes. That's a tough task. The season is the appetizer. We know when we get to the playoffs, that's when the real fun begins, and the Warriors will be hard to beat in the playoffs.
Absolutely agree with you, bro. 100% agree with you. Like, and I just can't wait to see. And they're gonna flip it on, and literally it's gonna be like, hey, the Warriors won. They won 10 out of their last 32 games, something like that. Like this, they won 5 out of their last 15. And then after that, it's gonna be like they just won 10 out of their last 12. Like that's what is gonna happen every single time, bro. Like, so good first take, especially because it's one that I had to. My first hot take though is that this is probably never gonna happen. But if the Los Angeles Lakers really truly want to build something that's gonna last and get out of this rut that they're in, they have to trade LeBron James.
100%. I don't think it'll ever happen.
It never happened.
It'll never happen. But yes, they need to trade LeBron James. LeBron James is he. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but he's holding them back, Dave. And I don't want to go too much into this because my last take is centered around this. Okay. But I want to agree with you. They need to trade and rebuild. They tried this project. It is clearly not working. They need to abort, and restart this mission.
Yeah, it's just, shout out to them. They got their bubble title, which, the trade, bringing in LeBron James, trading for Anthony Davis. That's what it was supposed to be for us to get a title. But I truly do believe one of the goals that they were after in trading for Anthony Davis is that they hoped, hey, Anthony Davis is going to spend the next 3-4 years learning to win with LeBron. When LeBron rides off into the sunset, we're going to have AD to build around as our star to kind of keep that team on at least a playoff, if not championship level. And this completely shot themselves in the foot. They got their one title. Shout out to them for that. But like, they completely mortgaged their future totally for that title. You sold your soul for that title.
100%. I 100% agree with you. They did, and what they had planned for after LeBron is not going to happen. It's just AD is not that dude, unfortunately.
Yeah, not that. He's not that guy. You're not that guy. But with that being said, what's your next hot take, JB?
All right, so I want to stay on AD for a second. My hot take has nothing to do with AD, but If I was to ask you who is the most unreliable player the last couple seasons in the NBA, when you think of street clothes, who's the first person that comes to your mind?
Anthony Davis.
All right. I'm going to tell you why. Listen, I agree with you 100%.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to tell you why it shouldn't be Anthony Davis.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you about the biggest con man in the NBA right now.
Okay.
And his name is Kawhi Leonard.
Kawashed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Kawhi Leonard is absolutely washed. My hot take is LA Clippers need to get rid of Kawhi Leonard. And I know the Kawhi Leonard fans, all the stands are going to go crazy and start flipping tables and shit. But let's look at this from a wide standpoint. The man has been with the team for, 4 now? He's played a total of about 111 games. He's played about 34% of the games. Not to mention the kind of crazy salary he's getting. He just a year ago, $176 million. He's into the second year. The amount of money that they've paid this dude and the output they've got from him is healthy. He's by far one of the top league and player on both ends of the court. I agree with you 100%. Problem is, dude can't stay healthy. Not only we talk about, or at least me, when I talk about James Harden, Westbrook, they're just not, they're head cases. That's what I call them. Low-key, Leonard is a freaking head case. He's not spoken and out in the public. He's going to as much. He's very high maintenance, bro. He's very high maintenance, and he hasn't been playing a lot of games for the last couple of seasons. Top 2 of salaries. Steve Ballmer got playing all this money, and they're getting some other stuff to add, but.
No, I completely agree with you. Like Kawhi Leonard, and the thing is that when they're healthy, the very few glimpses we got of it, that team could be dangerous. But it's like, do you bet on the health of Kawhi Leonard at this point? Like that, it has to be a difficult notion to do. Like, I still think like let's say for some reason, much like we said with the Warriors, let's say Kawhi Leonard is healthy the whole second half of the season. I got them as a title contender, but you just can't bet on that, bro.
100%. But if you're telling me he'll be healthy for the entire second half of the season, I'll put all kinds of crazy money on that he gets injured first round of playoffs. That's just how I think. And I just got some stats, bro. Read real quick.
Okay.
This 8th player in the league. He's played 2 last year. He was the 9th highest player, 39 million. He played 52 games. The season before that, $34 million for the year. 12th highest paid, did not even play a game. And his first year, $32 million, number 12 highest player in the league, played 57 games. It's time for Kawhi to go. The comment game is over.
Damn, bro. That's crazy, man. It's like, and that's the thing. Like, how much? I wonder how much longer is left on his contract, because there's no way he's getting paid.
He has 2 seasons left.
When this time. That's crazy. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough, bro. That is tough. Shout out to Paul George, too, who's been balling out of control. My next NBA hot take isn't just one on this season. It's kind of a general one, and it may be too early to say that. Some people are going to hear this and be like, Haize, why the hell are you saying this already? It's far too early to say this. But this player is 28 years old, and I went back and looked at some old tweets of mine. At this age, I was saying the same thing about the player I'm about to compare him to. Joel Embiid is going to be much like Carmelo Anthony. He will never win a title. He's going to put up a lot of stats. He's going to look great. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Joel Embiid is never going to win an NBA title.
It's crazy because I agree with you 100%. I don't have a hot take on that, but the hot take that I crossed out of my list before I added what I was wanting to talk about is I had Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. I don't think any of those guys win a title, period. They retire crazy. All without a ring.
Yeah, James Harden.
I truly believe so.
I believe that too, James Harden. Russell Westbrook, the thing that I would say is keeping me from saying that now about Russell Westbrook is if this him embracing the 6-man role is true, if this is something that's truly him and not just him trying to do it to get moved or whatever, I think that he can win a title because his contract's up at the end of this year. I think that if he goes to a team and says, listen, I did really good as a 6-man last season. I'm going to go chase a title and be a 6-man for that team, and I'm going to run that second unit, still get plenty of opportunities to score and stuff. I think Russell Westbrook can get a title then.
Here's I agree with 100%. I don't think that ever happens. Westbrook, at the end of the day, he has an ego. I mean, when you're ready to fight a fan in the crowd that's called Westbrook and say it to my face, you have an ego. He's willing to lead that second with like AD and LeBron on the forefront. Put him on a team like AC or something, or one of these younger teams. I don't think he's willing to do what Carmelo was willing to do.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he goes to a younger team. I'm saying Jordan's a contender. For example, right? Not saying this is going to happen. Not this is just because we talked about this team. If Russell Westbrook was to say at next offseason, I'm going to go to the Clippers and I'm going to be the 6-man for the Clippers.
That'd be huge.
I think that type of, I don't think he's going to go to a younger team, but I think that if this 6-man thing is real, that if he accepts it for a team that maybe isn't necessarily at a championship level right now, but maybe is a ring below it and says, hey, I can go to the Memphis Grizzlies. I can transform that bench unit. I'm going to play behind Ja, Desmond Bane. I can play next to either one of them. I'm going to go to that team. I'm going to make them a championship contender by what I can do for them off the bench. I think Russ gets a title that way.
I think it comes down to, and we talked about this a couple episodes ago when we were talking about Dame. Does it come down to, does Russ prefer the ring or the bag? If he prefers the bag, it's never going to happen. If he prefers the ring, he'll go that route, and he may join the right squad and actually get a title.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to put it, bro. I couldn't have thought of that any better myself. That's a perfect way to put that. I guess it's my turn for a hot take.
Yep.
I struggle saying this because I just feel like as soon as I put this out there in the atmosphere, they're going to do something to undo what I'm about to say. But
don't give me some bullshit now.
No bulls. No, I specifically don't talk about Bulls because I don't want to seem like the homer that I am when it comes to that team. But I'm saying this. I say that the Utah Jazz make a big move at the trade deadline, but it's not the move to make them worse. I think they see it and they try to make a move for a player, a veteran, that's going to make that team even better than what they've been playing so far.
What do you think? Like, who are you thinking?
I'm not willing to put names on it. I'm not willing to put names on it quite yet because I really want to see who else is going to come available. But I think with the way that team's played right now, and again, this is, hot takes. It's hot take because I don't think it's likely. But I do think that the Jazz they're going to go one or two ways at the trade deadline. They're going to trade a lot of this asset so they can get worse and get in the Victor win beyond the sweepstakes, or they're going to make a trade to say, F it. We're going to bring in more talent to this team. I'm not willing to say who it is yet, and it could be a mixture of both. They could trade Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, and still bring in a player that keeps them maybe in playoff contention. They have so many other teams' picks that maybe they don't feel like they have to tank their own, but I don't know, man. I just look at the Jazz and say they've been playing so good. Do they really throw that all away? They still may, though. The smarter thing is to throw it all away. But that,
I agree. And you actually said what I was going to say. I think we'll find out when it gets close to that trade. If they feel they have a actual shot at contending, which they clearly don't. I don't think they don't. I don't care what we're seeing right now. They don't. But if they do, and they're going to get that additional piece that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But if they start trading people and start, getting shit out of them, they're trying to get into the sweeps. But which I believe is the route they should. It'll be interesting to watch. And it's not only in Utah. There's a couple other teams that are playing above the standards that we thought they'd be playing. And it's interesting to come trade time, the deadline, what these teams are going to push for it, or are they going to – because at the end of the day, there's other things that we have to think about. Yes, you could just tank the season and say, get into the sweepstakes for next season. Or at the end of the day, also, this is a business. You want to try to make the playoffs, you get more ticket money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When you're a team like the New York Knicks and you're shit every year, that's my team, so I could say that, and you're still one of the, biggest franchises, it doesn't really matter if you're winning or losing. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are in the situation we've been in for so long. But besides the point, some of the playoffs, just for a business sake, but we'll find out more again when that trade deadline comes up.
Absolutely. All right, bro, you got anything left, or have we gone through all your hot takes?
I got one more, and I don't know if this is necessarily a hot take because I feel like everybody kind of might be on the same page, but I really feel at the end of the season, to be Ben Simmons.
Bro, stop smoking.
I feel
Sounds like stop trying to get me pissed off, bro. Stop trying to get I'm like, there's no way JB just said that out of his mouth, bro. There's no way. What's your hot take, brother?
So here's my hot take. I don't know. Again, call it what you will. I think honestly and truly, the age of the super team is dead. You're seeing teams. You saw the Bucks win a title. That super team. You saw how well the Celtics did. That time has gone and passed. Look at what's going on. What's going on with the Nets? Look what's going on with the Clippers. These are super teams.
That's a great
super
point,
teams.
Bro.
I just.
That's a great point.
Feel like go back to basics. Build a team through your draft. Get pieces. Collect assets. The thing is, and this is what we were talking about earlier, and I said I want to come back to it. You talk about the Lakers and their bubble ring. I'm a Knicks fan, right? Mm-hmm. Would I trade my future for a ring? Forget about if it's the bubble ring or not. I don't care which ring. My answer is no, bro. I and this may sound stupid, but I'd rather contend for the next 10 years. Even if we don't win a title, but contend, go deep in the playoffs. I'm talking about like 90s Knicks versus winning one championship. I know that might sound crazy, but I'd rather contend every year rather than win. The Lakers have gave away their whole future. The Clippers gave away so many picks to get Paul. They traded away their whole future. They could trade away was part of that deal too, right?
Yeah.
So and look what he's freaking balling out right now. Young guy, but I just feel like that super team thing is done. It could possibly be done in the right way, but I just don't see it. And no one can say, oh, well, look at the Warriors or anything like that. The Warriors are not, yes, they're a super team, but that was all homegrown. Celtics is all homegrown. Bucks is all homegrown. So that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too. Like that's an interesting take. Like you said, the I guess you're saying in the sense of these superstars, this superstar, they come together, but like the homegrown super teams is definitely, I think that's the thing when you look at some of the teams right now with Memphis, who with I don't know if we necessarily call them a super team, but the Celtics and how they come together, the Denver Nuggets, like even though they're really built around one player, but I agree with you. We could see the end of that, especially if the NBA is truly moving toward expansion and they're going to be adding two teams here in the next couple of years. I really think that may be the end of the super team for sure. Yeah,
100%. Because again, bringing in one piece is okay. I don't necessarily call that constructing
like what the Cavs did. They brought up Donovan Mitchell with something they already built.
100%. But when you're like trying to pull like what the Heat did back then, bringing in, I mean, Wade was there, but they brought in Bosh, they brought in LeBron James, and they brought in all these shooters. I think that's gone. You just mentioned the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are a team of the future. I mean, look at obviously they got Ja. Desmond Bane, you could argue that he was one of the top guys from his class, and he's in a class with LaMelo was in his class, and I forgot who there was another top player in his class that I don't remember. Desmond Bane's balling the hell out this season. Yeah. And they're a young team. Grizzlies are a lot of the Warriors before the Warriors and Clay were young and Mark Jackson was coaching them. They're going to be a serious team in the future. But again, it's the way they're building their team.
For sure. I mean, that's a great point, bro. Great point there. And I think the NBA would be better for it, if we're being honest. So
100%.
Yeah. All right, man. That's it. Unless you got anything else, bro, we can go ahead and shut it down.
That's it, man. That's all I got, bro. I'd love to hear what the Central fans think, what their hot takes are.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know your hot takes down below. But other than that, JB, go ahead and let them know where they can follow you at.
I can be found on at the P1JB. That's at TAJB.
You can follow me at CEO Haize, at CEO Haize. We still have no social media for the show specifically, but you can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns at NBA Central Show at gmail.com. Before JB, I'm Haize. This is NBA Central. We out this mug. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.